Hey App State fans, today on the A Game, we've got updates from the wrestling team and their success from the NCAA tournament last weekend.
We've also got baseball and softball coverage from their weekend games, and Ashley and I get to sit down with Isaac Johnson and talk to him about this season and how his bracket is doing.
That and more. Coming up, it's the A Game. What's up, App State? We thank you for joining us, Braxton Critcher, Ashley Smith, and this is App State's only sports TV show, the A Game.
And while the focus of the nation was fixated on the NCAA tournament last weekend, here at App State we had one eye on the basketball bracket and the other on the wrestling matchups, which is where we begin today's show. 4 Mountaineers were invited to the tournament held in the Quicken Loans Arena in downtown Cleveland, where the Cavaliers play their home games. Forrest Privish, Randall Diabe, Irvin Enriquez, and Alan Clothier were this year's Mountaineer representatives, the third straight season in which Appalachian sent at least 4 wrestlers to the tournament. In his second appearance, Privish went 2-2 in the tournament this year, but the senior's final win as a Mountaineer could not have finished any better. In front of a sold-out crowd, Privish broke a 2-2 tie with 3 seconds left in overtime to give him 78 wins in his career at App State. Diabe also secured a win for the Black and Gold in his second-round matchup, giving the Mountaineers 3 total wins in Cleveland. Enriquez and Clothier did not get wins in their first tournament appearance, but Coach Bentley said this about the team. Quote, "I am proud of this year's team and growth that we made this year. I think all the guys we had at the tournament competed hard and they represented our university very well. I think the young guys are going to take a lot from this tournament and hopefully it will help them in the future and when they get here again." And quote. Solid season for the Mountaineers, and what a job for Coach Bentley this year.
Yeah, and it was just a great one to add to his career at App State. He has already been named the Southern Conference Coach of the Year, the 3rd time in the past 4 years, and the 4th time since taking the job 9 years ago. Bentley was one of 8 finalists for the NWCA Coach of the Year award this year after he led his team to a 7-0 record in conference and 14-0 in the past 2 years. John Mark Bentley has built the wrestling program into a national contender recently, beating teams like Duke, Indiana, and North Carolina, while coaching 2 All-Americans in Denzel Dejournette last year and Kyle Blevins in 2012. Coach Bentley, what a career so far, and with the way the team played this year, there is strong reason to believe there's much more to come.
And that is exactly where you want to get your program as a coach and an athletic director, when you can go into each and every year and expect to win a ton of games. It all starts with a coach, though, and the App State softball team seems to have found theirs in Shelly Horner. So far, they're 12-14 on the year and 2-4 in the Sun Belt Conference. Remember, the team only won 2 games in the Sun Belt play all of last year. They would take those 2 wins last weekend for a 3-game series starting Friday with a doubleheader and finishing on Saturday. The Mountaineers dropped Game 1 on Friday 5-0, but fought off a no-hitter from the bat of Laura Sales. Game 2 went to 5 innings in an 8-0 loss. Alicia Josie had a single for the game, and Carrie White earned a bunt for a single after catching the defense off guard. The final game of the series ended in a 5-0 loss, and Jenny Dodd and Sydney Russell took back-to-back singles into the second, but couldn't get Dodd off third to score. Softball will pick right back up this weekend, traveling back to UNCG for a doubleheader this Wednesday, and then host Texas State Saturday and Sunday. Tough losses last weekend for the App State softball team, but it's times like these where even teams like Lafayette can look back on a couple years ago and say, hey, we've been there before, and that's the reasons why we're here today, is because we've experienced that, we've learned from it.
And the baseball team is going through the exact same thing right now, so hopefully they'll have a good weekend coming up. The baseball team traveled to Texas State over the weekend for a 3-game series to open up Sun Belt play. The Mountaineers dropped Game 1 to the Bobcats 8-2, despite the effort from C.J. Brown's home run in the 3rd inning and Joel McDaniel's RBI single late in the 9th. Saturday's Game 2 was a pitching duel all the way till the 3-2 ending. The Black and Gold had bases loaded in the top of the 9th, but couldn't move runners after the Bobcats right fielder made a catch to prevent the go-ahead run for the Mountaineers. While Texas State won Sunday's matchup 7-2, freshman Alex LaShock went 2 for 4 with a double and triple, while junior catcher Riley Smith hit his first home run of the season. The Mountaineers face Wake Forest Tuesday at home, UNC Asheville away, in the first home Sunbelt Series against Georgia Southern this Friday. And I think that the Georgia Southern Series coming up this Friday is going to be a good one to be at.
You learn from your mistakes, right? And we're going to get to see that this weekend. And we get to ask Brooks Maynard, who is the sports editor for the Appalachian, about that and how the Appalachian State baseball team can improve their offense and defense coming up. That's next on the A-Game. Stay with us.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
And we're back on the A-Game. We've got sports editor for the Appalachian, Brooks Maynard, in here with us. He's going to talk some App State baseball with us after a 5-12 start to the season, 0-3 in conference. So far, what's your assessment of the team?
You know, they have had a rough start. I think their biggest problem has been coming out of the pen. You know, their starters, especially Schmid, have been real hot, but they get into those late innings and they just can't hold on to these leads, and it's not helped by the fact that they're really not hitting. You know, their best hitter is hitting 280 right now, which college baseball, not having at least 3 or 4 people in 300, it's a problem.
But you mentioned Colin Schmidt, and he has 32 strikeouts on this season. But another key pitcher for the Mountaineers has been Luke Watts in his senior season. Who else do you think could potentially step up into those leading pitcher roles for the Mountaineers?
Luke Watts is real interesting because he has been a starter. He was one of our key starters last year. But this year he's been moved into the closer role. He's been real solid in that so far this season. I think someone who's real key to take his spot is Travis Holden. You know, he's had maybe not the best start that you're looking for, but if you look at his starts game by game, he's been going deeper than anyone, and his hits are high, but his earned runs are low most times. So I think over the course of a season, he's going to become Schmid's number 2.
Now let's talk a little bit more about Schmid as well. He's 1-1 so far this year, but he leads the team in ERA at 2.30. What's impressed you the most about him so far?
It's his strikeout ability. You know, you get a lot of pitchers are good at getting outs. You know, there's a lot of ways to get out. So there are guys that, you know, their strikeout rate is low, but their batting average is also low because they're just getting those ground balls and those fly balls. But it's hard sometimes, especially at high-level college baseball, to get someone to not at least put a ball in play.
Oh, go ahead.
So to get 32 strikeouts, we're already, I mean, he has 4 starts. And he's got 32 strikeouts. So that's quite a feat.
And moving over to the offense.
Not the mediator today, boys.
Catcher Riley Smith recorded his first home run of the season today as a Mountaineer. But Connor Leonard has also put up big numbers for the Mountaineers by getting on base. Who do you think could help the Mountaineers in the lineup besides Leonard and Smith this season?
I think some of our freshmen are really going to be bringing it this year. As far as Connor and Riley, I think the Mountaineers really need to start getting on base. Home runs are great, but at the end of the day, they're only 1 run if there's no one on base. And like I said earlier, they're having trouble holding these leads. And one of the ways, if they can't figure out this bullpen problem, is to have such a large lead that it doesn't matter. So I think their biggest issue is to be able to get on base. You know, like I said earlier, their best hitter's hitting 280. He's also their highest on base percentage at 367, which is not as high as you want it to be.
And sometimes a home run can be the biggest momentum killer whenever you have nobody on base after a home run clears the bases. So far this year, they've lost by 5 runs 6 times. That's half of their losses. What do you think needs to change the most? Defense and pitching or offense need to be scoring more runs?
I think it's their offense. I think, you know, earlier this season, I think in late February, they got their first defensive shutout against NC Central since 2016. So clearly their defense has been making strides. And, you know, earlier when they played Texas State, They lost 7-2, and I've been saying that their starting pitching has been where they've been good and their bullpen has been where they've been struggling. Well, in Texas State, in their last game against Texas State, it was the bullpen that really was the strong side of the pitching. So if the bullpen can continue to show those signs, then it's really the defense that needs to step up, or not the defense, I'm sorry, the offense that needs to step up, because the defense has been making those strides, but they're still not hitting nearly as well as they need to be.
So thanks for joining us, Brooks. We'll certainly have you back on the show soon. They play, of course, this week against Wake Forest, UNC
Tuesday
Asheville.
against Wake Forest, and then UNC Asheville is coming in this weekend for, I believe, just 2 games.
I think it's just one, actually, and then they
one?
play Georgia Southern this coming weekend.
Georgia Southern on this weekend, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's right.
Starts
Okay.
Friday.
Sure.
So thanks again. We'll have you soon,
Yep.
and good luck this
Appreciate
week.
it.
Yep. Coming up on the A Game, we've got some men's basketball season recap with Isaac Johnson, and we'll also have Q&A game where Kelly Hunter and Zach Antrim get to chat with App State students about their brackets.
We'll also have a coverage from the men's and women's track meet over the weekend and our episode 6, Player of the Week. So stay right here on the A Game.
I rescued Toast from a shelter in 2011. I love Toast because she's a lazy diva. Toast does whatever she wants, obviously. She's sleeping right now. She's an epic snuggler. She's so comforting. She's so loving. Toast makes me laugh. When I walked into the shelter, I knew right then that she was special.
All right, welcome back to the A Game. We've got App State men's basketball forward Isaac Johnson after a 9-9 Sun Belt season, one of the best ones that we've seen in the past 3 years, best under Jim Fox. Right. Going into the season, you guys were picked to finish 11th, but you guys like proving people wrong, and you came in 5th place. Talk about that and what you guys did to prove those things wrong and then have such a great season.
Just like you said, we like to prove people wrong, and last year it didn't go as expected. So this year we just came in and just said that we needed to work hard and try to prove people wrong that we weren't just 11th seed, but we ended up 5th seed. So that was, we wanted to be in the top, at least top 3, but that's not bad at all. So it was good.
And going into the conference tournament, y'all did finish 5th in the conference. What kind of momentum do you think that will have for the offseason going into your junior season, coming off of a second round game when y'all weren't expected to be there?
Like you said, we like to prove people wrong, and next year we're just gonna keep on trying to improve our season just like every year. So next season we would like to, of course, we like to win the championship and get to go to the NCAA. So that would be a definitely great season.
So I'm sitting there watching you guys all year, went to a lot of the home games, of course watch you guys when you're on the road as well. And I'm sitting there and I see you and Tyrell Johnson down there on the block. Mm-hmm. You guys provide a ton of length on defense, and then offensively you can grab a ton of offensive rebounds too. Right. And I know that other teams fear that when they play you guys, but how do you and Tyrell both get better and continue building that unity next year?
It's funny that because I hear a lot that we are, they say that we are twins, but really not. So I hear that a lot. It's kind of funny, but both of us are stretch forwards, so we get to play on the perimeter a lot, and that's just what we have to work on. We have to keep on working our shooting ability and all abilities, honestly, handle the ball better, and just do whatever you can to help the team win. So that's what we do.
Can we call it the Johnson Towers?
Oh yeah, you can.
The Twin Towers down low for Jim Fox.
You can call us that.
But with Griff graduating this May, who do you think could step up into his role for next season?
We have Hunter Seacat. He's a transfer. He's a good fit for losing Griff this season. So, and in the leadership role, I feel like Shabazz is doing a great job being a leader, and hopefully I can step up to become a leader as well. I just have to keep on showing the coach that I can lead the team and help the team as much as I can.
So you guys got a first Sun Belt tournament win this year.
Right.
When Isaac Johnson sits down in his apartment late in the day, sits back on the couch, how do you reflect on the season? What's your perspective on how the year went?
I reflect on the season by just saying, wow, we could have done way much better than we actually did, but it's all, we just have to keep on working and keep on having a great off season and a preseason for next year. So together we just need to stay as a team and just keep fighting for what we need to accomplish.
But what do you see yourself working on in the off season? Like better free throw shooting, better defense, better footwork? Like what do you expect to do?
Honestly, anything, everything, because you always want to perfect your craft and just keep on practicing what you need to do. And for me, I will feel like shooting is probably my the worst ability for me, because I just need to keep on getting in the gym, and that's what I'm going to do this summer and this offseason, preseason. So that and just my dribbling skills, I would say, is kind of needs a little bit of work, and that's what we will do.
So I saw a tweet from Jim Fox last week. He said he thinks that in the next 2 or 3 years, he can really see this program making the NCAA tournament. I'm assuming you guys are on the same page, but what do you think needs to happen in the next 2 years for you to get to that NCAA tournament?
We just need to stay in the system, just keep on following coaches, what they're telling us to do, and it worked this year. We went 9-9, and last year we went 4 and something, 4-13, I think. And we just need to keep on progressing like we are, so that will work.
Let me ask you this: how's talking about NCAA brackets here? My bracket's not great, but hopefully you've had a little more success. Who you got winning, and how's your bracket looking at this point?
I have Duke playing Xavier, but Xavier's out, so hopefully Duke won't get out in this next game. So then my bracket will be just crushed.
Shocked by the Virginia losing to 16.
Oh yeah, but any given day, a team can beat you. So
that's right.
Right.
Well, we appreciate you joining us, Isaac.
Thank you.
Good luck next season, and we certainly hope you guys can see some of those goals come to fruition next year and have that first NCAA tournament bid next season.
Oh yeah, that's the plan.
That's right.
Thank you.
Coming up on the show, we've got the NCAA tournament started over last weekend, and we will see what students had to say about their brackets to A-Game reporters Zach Antrim and Kelly Hunter on this week's episode of the Q&A Game. Take a look.
So how's your bracket looking so far this year?
My bracket is busted. As of yesterday night when Arizona lost to Buffalo, I had the Wildcats win it all, so it's not looking too good now.
Do you know any teams in basketball for the NCAA?
Do you have any picks to win it all?
Yes, UNC, Chapel Hill.
So do you have a favorite team of basketball at all or no?
No.
But who's your actual favorite team?
My favorite team's the Wolfpack, but they got ousted yesterday in the first round. Not happy with it, but it was a good year overall for Coach Keats.
Do you know anything about basketball?
No.
Do you have a team that you think might win it all?
I mean, I'm a Duke fan, so I'm hoping they can pull it through.
You know what, Braxton? My bracket got busted on night one because I picked Arizona State over Syracuse.
Well, I think you're along with everybody else. Everybody picked Virginia in that first game, at least UMBC, shocking the world, being the first team, 16 to beat number 1. So don't feel bad. I think everybody's in the same shoes you are, Ashley. So let's move from inside the gym to outside the gym, where Appalachian State played their first outdoor track meet of the year. They traveled to the University of North Carolina at Charlotte this past weekend to compete in the 49er Classic in the first outdoor track meet of the year. Sophomore Jabari Johnson set a new personal record, winning the 200-meter dash in just over 21 seconds. This new record places Johnson as the 6th fastest time in program history. The black and gold also finished in the top 3 of the 10,000-meter run, with 2 freshmen grabbing 2nd and 3rd place. The Mountaineers will compete again at the Weems Basket Invitational in South Carolina this upcoming week.
The App State women's track and field team also traveled to Charlotte this past weekend to open their outdoor season. Sophomore Emily Fetters finished in 3rd place and set a new PR time of 37:10 in the 10,000-meter run. 3 more Mountaineers also finished in the top 10 of the 10,000-meter run. The black and gold grabbed 2 more 3rd place titles in the high jump and pole vault. The team will travel again to South Carolina for the Weems Basket Invitational next weekend.
As we mentioned earlier in the show, our wrestling team had 4 members compete at nationals over the weekend. Our A-game player of the week goes to junior Randall Diabe from Greensboro.
Diabe finished his season at 20-9, but his best moment as a Mountaineer was defeating the 14th ranked wrestler Scotty Boykin from Chattanooga this season to help the Mountaineers clinch a conference championship.
Outside of wrestling, he enjoys hanging out with his teammates and playing video games just to relax. Congrats to Randall, Coach Bentley, and the other Mountaineers for competing at the Nationals tournament, and we look forward to seeing you guys again next year.
Thank you for watching episode 6 of the A-Game here on AppTV. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook to learn more about the Mountaineers throughout the week. More in-depth stories can be found on our Facebook page every day from our A-Game reporters.
For Ashley Smith, our producer Sam Moore, and everyone else on the A-Game crew, I'm Braxton Critcher, and we'll see you next week.